Custer's last stand at the Battle of the Little Bighorn is one of the most mythologized events in American history. But almost everything you've been taught is wrong. Was Custer really a hero? Did the U.S. Army stand a chance? And what really led to one of the most devastating defeats in military history? In this video, we're exposing the 5 biggest lies America still believes about Custer's last stand, and the shocking truth will change how you see this infamous battle forever. Stick around, because what really happened will leave you speechless. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell before we dive in. Little Bighorn Massacre, 90 minutes of slaughter. The first sight that struck General Alfred Terry's men was the uniforms. At the hill's peak, the nightmare revealed itself. 263 corpses littered the June sunlight, stripped bare. Surveying the carnage, Terry wrote in his journal, "This was no battle." He shoved Custer's final orders at Benteen, hastily penned in Adjutant Cook's uneven script. "Hurry, bring ammo, packs can wait." But what Benteen noticed first were the flies, swarms of them, dark and humming, coating the slopes of Last Stand Hill like a living shroud. A Cheyenne warrior later said, "We didn't hate Custer. Heroes don't attack 7,000 Sioux with 647 men. He died a fool, chasing fame." The numbers told the tale, 268 dead in 90 minutes, including Custer's brothers, Tom and Boston. At Benteen's camp, a lathered horse galloped in. "They're surrounded, sir, thousands of them," gasped the rider. We pitied him. He fought like a trapped wolf, but wolves die alone. As Terry scanned the field, George Armstrong Custer's body lay at the center, his right leg severed at the knee, skull shattered by a stone club. A wooden stake jutted from his throat, a Cheyenne execution. Nearby, a young private's body bristled with 17 arrows. Forensic studies later proved the slaughter's speed. Custer's men fired 35,000 rounds, one shot every 10 seconds per soldier, before being overwhelmed. Archaeologists still dig up 45 to 55 shell casings embedded in the dirt, silent proof of their last stand. But the Lakota saw it differently. To them, it was Wichapi Iapea, where long hair fell. Heroes don't ignore scouts. A warrior spat. What kind of man worries about mules while his men bleed? At 1:15 p.m., Private John Martin, Custer's Italian-born trumpeter, raced into Benteen's camp, his horse foaming. "Tell McDougal to bring supplies. We ride now." Benteen read the note, then tossed it aside. Supplies? Let Custer face what he sowed. As gunfire echoed from Little Bighorn, the stench of death thickened, a sickly, sweet rot clinging to uniforms. How did America's most famed general, a man who'd survived 11 horses shot under him in the Civil War, lead his men to such ruin? Even his enemies called it suicide. 1,800 warriors under Crazy Horse and Gall tightened their grip. Custer's men trapped in the shallow ravines of the Little Bighorn. A warrior later recalled, "We saw their fear." Ballistic studies show 97% of Custer's cartridges were fired from cover, proving his men were surrounded, not advancing. For the Lakota, it was a day of honor. For the soldiers, pure agony. By 3 p.m., Reno had fled his position. His retreat path, later mapped by archaeologists, revealed 112 rifle pits, each a soldier's desperate last stand. By nightfall, only 53 men remained fit to fight. Behind rotting horse carcasses, Dr. Henry Porter operated by moonlight. No anesthesia. One man bit through his tongue, another whispered to his dead mother. The major's hunting corpses while we're becoming them. A soldier spat, firing at shadows. Evolutionary anthropologists, 2018, found a chilling pattern. Soldiers who called on family lived 43% longer than those who prayed to God. A grim lesson in the will to survive. Meanwhile, Sioux drums pounded at 412 beats per minute, a rhythm later matched by Crow tribal singers in 2001 audio experiments. Ethnographers now believe it mirrored the Lakota Hunka ceremony, a spiritual pulse guiding the attack. Reno returned empty-handed, uniform caked in blood and filth. "We must fall back," he gasped. On the bluffs, Major Marcus Reno drowned his terror in whiskey, spectacles fogged with liquor and despair. "We're finished," he screamed. Of his 112 men, 47 died in 20 minutes. "Half my men, gone. Where's Benteen? Where's God?" Near Calhoun Hill. Soldiers fired, 22 rounds per minute. Their Springfield searing hot. A Cheyenne warrior scoffed they shot wild like boys throwing stones. One teenager, John Duval, 17, a New York orphan who'd enlisted under a fake name, survived the night, only to hang himself in 1883, murmuring Sioux chants as the noose tightened. Hodgson's body, still out there. A soldier slurred, mounting a stray horse. For the 30 critical minutes, Reno hesitated. A delay that doomed them. At 4:30 a.m., Reno raised his canteen. To Custer, he toasted the darkness. May hell be gentler than the Sioux. Lieutenant Edward Godfrey, a man whose service record noted inclined to lethargy and gradual deterioration. What awaits men who survive a massacre when living damns them? The Sioux had already broken camp that morning, vanishing like mist. Yet modern research dismantles the myth. Benteen's recovered pocket watch. Its face cracked at, 2:17 p.m. The moment Custer fell, asked silent questions. Did he check it while delaying? Form lines now. Godfrey roared, kicking awake trembling troopers. "Fall back in ranks or I'll shoot deserters myself." The 1879 Court of Inquiry DR erased Reno's drunkenness and Benteen's hesitation, recasting survival as valor. Thermal surveys, 2016. Later proved most rifle pits faced away from Lakota forces, men firing blindly as they retreated. Dr. Douglas Scott, battle archaeologist, concluded this was less defense than slow collapse. For BER, 97 minutes. Godfrey's rearguard covered plunge 1.2 miles. East of open ground, firing die, 312 rounds to shield the retreat. Trajectory analysis reveals his men aimed low, a survival tactic versus Custer's wild shot skyward. Cheyenne oral histories from the 1930s tell another tale. Tu Moon, a warrior at Weir Point, recalled, "We let them live. They were already broken." At dawn, Godfrey tallied losses. 3 dead, 11 wounded. That evening, he wrote his wife, "Ain't no hero, just too stubborn to die." Archaeologists, 2005. Found Temohi, 17 Springfield casings. Near his positions, each stamped U.S. 1874. Nearby, soldiers crawled like ants over scorched earth. Privately, General Sheridan Parmponen wrote, "Better a lie that inspires than a truth that shames us." Godfrey received the Banner Medal of Honor in 1894. 18 years later, when the Army needed living heroes, the citation omitted his pre-battle reputation, an officer who once patrolled camp with revolver in one hand, coffee tin in the other, berating oversleepers as Sitting Bull. Later told a reporter, "You won the battle, but the war, that truth still marches toward us." You call this victory? We call it grief. No one cheers when putting down a rabid beast. The stench announced the horror before Terry's column reached Last Stand Hill, a putrid cocktail of blood, gunpowder, and rotting flesh. Custer's naked corpse lay sprawled in dirt, his famous golden curls crusted with blood. 17 arrows jutted from a nearby body. Tom Custer, so mutilated only dental records identified him by his gold-filled molar. Forensic anthropologists would later document execution-style wounds. 62% of skulls bore point blank, 44 to .40 Henry rifle impacts to the temples. LIDAR scans revealed the truth. 35,000 rounds fired in a shrinking defensive perimeter, not the glorious charge of legend. Terry turned to Benteen, voice dripping venom. "Your hesitation murdered them." Benteen, polishing his spectacles with a bloodied handkerchief, countered. "Custer's arrogance killed them. You think I could have stopped that?" The numbers mocked them. 268 dead in 90 minutes. Survivors stumbled into camp like specters. Private DiRudio, uniform in tatters, whispered, "I hid while they died." His cowardice later became legend. Only Comanche, Captain Keogh's wounded horse, survived to be paraded as a symbol of valor. The Army's official report proclaimed Custer a martyred hero. Privately, Sheridan seethed, "That fool's recklessness lost us the West." The 1879 inquiry whitewashed Reno's drunkenness and Benteen's delays, rebranding survival as competence. But the true reckoning came for the victors. Within a year, the triumphant Sioux faced starvation, buffalo herds slaughtered, children confined to reservations. As Sitting Bull observed, "We won the battle, but lost our world." In 1983, Cheyenne elders buried a lock of Custer's hair in reconciliation. The ritual's leader, Eugene Black Bear, mused, "What does it say about your nation that it worships slaughter as heroism?" His question echoes through history, unanswered. The hill still stands. The brass casings oxidize in the soil. The flies still come when the summer heat rises. Nature's only true mourners for the fallen. Arrogance, it seems, leaves the deepest scars, not on the land, but on the stories we tell. The earth remembers even when history lies. Black Bear was right. Some wounds never close, some truths never soften. And some men, even in death, refuse to be forgotten. The wind still whispers here, but the flies? They don't care about legends. They only feast.